Okay guys, today I'm gonna make my quickest ever lasagna, and I already started, so it's gonna be even quicker for you guys. So here I have a 50-50 mix of beef and pork that I started searing. I'm just gonna give this some like a nice sear. These are all the vegetables I had at home. So I got a few pieces of celery, and I have half an onion from yesterday's dinner and some pieces of garlic, or some cloves of garlic. I would have liked to have a bit more onion and maybe some carrots, but I think this is fine. It's going to be a quick lasagna, so it doesn't have to be the tastiest lasagna I've ever made. And I also made my own pasta a few days ago, so that is what I'm going to use for this lasagna. So basically I'm gonna let this get some, let the meat sear, and then I'm gonna add all the vegetables and boil everything. And during the time when this is cooking, I'm gonna make the pasta sheets and I'm gonna make the bechamel. So when I'm done with that, I'm deciding that the bolognese or the ragu will be done. And we'll see how long that takes. Hopefully it won't take too long. I just came home and my girlfriend wants dinner. And I'm not going to be very careful cutting these small. I think it's more important to make them thin. That way they cook basically as fast as if they're smaller in all directions. Yeah, this is a time where it would have been really nice with a larger cutting board. So, and with this, so hopefully these pieces, even though they're a bit larger than I would like them to be, they can kind of dissolve almost, so that you won't feel them or taste them. Okay, it's starting to look nice. So I don't wanna, at this point, I don't want to move the meat too much, because I want to develop a nice crust on one side. Otherwise, it'll release a lot of liquid or a lot of water, and then it'll kind of steam more than sear. So I've been a bit careful moving it too much. So this, the lasagna I'm going to cook today, I'm thinking it's going to be quite similar to the one I usually make, but except for just like few less ingredients and not allowing it to cook or to simmer for as long as I normally do. Okay, so onion. So yeah, the same with the celery. I don't really care about making these pieces as small as I would normally have. I'm hoping they'll dissolve anyways. Or not dissolve, but become so so soft that you can't feel them or that you can't taste them. And if the pieces aren't the same size and shape, I think that's fine. It's in a lasagna, so no one will see it. Oh no, I dropped some. This is maybe the worst way of cutting onions, but since it was already cut before, I didn't really have much of a choice. So normally for this amount of meat, I would maybe use 2 whole onions, maybe 2 normal sized carrots, and like celery stalks, the same amount of them as of carrots and onions. So yeah, it might not taste exactly like it usually does. Okay, hopefully this doesn't burn. No, it's fine. I'm gonna pour in some wine. We have a box of wine that we want to finish, so I feel like this is a perfect way of using that. Okay, so there's kind of a nice sear on these. I don't want everything to sear or to become brown, because I feel like the texture would be a bit worse. Okay, so now I'm gonna pour in some wine. I don't know what wine this is. We had some guests last week, and one of them brought this, so I don't know what it is, but it's probably okay. I'm just gonna pour in like maybe that much. I don't want to pour in more than I have time to like boil the alcohol off from. So maybe I'm gonna turn up the heat a bit. Normally I would boil this entire thing for maybe 1.5 hours. Today I don't have time for that. So I'm gonna make it simmer on higher heat and for a shorter period of time. Okay, so garlic. I don't always add garlic, but I felt like I had to add something since I don't have my normal amount of vegetables. The same with these. I think these will release a lot of flavor even if they're not that finely chopped. That. And then I usually add the same amount of tomato sauce or crushed tomatoes as I have meat. So I had around 2 pounds of meat, so I'm gonna add 2 pounds or a kilo of tomatoes. Maybe I said this in another video, but I don't like the texture of crushed tomatoes, so I'm using kind of like a tomato sauce that's completely smooth without pieces. And that's just me not liking that. Gonna pour this in. Normally I would put some water in this as well and get everything out. But since I'm not boiling this for as long, I wanna minimize the liquid I put in this, so it's not too runny when I boil it, or when I cook the lasagna. both of these. And normally I also boil this or simmer this on quite low heat, but so like 50% of, no, maybe 40 or 50% of the maximum input. Okay, I think this looks nice. It's not too wet. However, I will add some more things. Okay, so what I'm gonna add is some chicken stock. I have to compensate with flavors since I don't have vegetables. And then I'm gonna add some parsley. Parsley is one of those neutral herbs that I feel like I can add to everything. I can add quite a lot. Like that. I think it changes the color as well. The contrast between the red and the green. I like those. I'm also going to add... Maybe I could have added some more parsley. Oh, this is fine. I will add a few bay leaves. Not too many because I can't find them afterwards. These are kind of small. Okay, just the one left there. Oh. Three. Okay, so 3 bay leaves. I always count how many I put in because that way I know if I remove all of them at the end. I usually don't like tie them up into this like bouquet garni. Okay, so bay leaves, I have parsley, I have some tomatoes, I have wine, and I'm gonna add some milk. Or do I have some cream? I always add some kind of dairy product to this to make it a bit richer. However, today I only had kind of low-fat milk, so I didn't add as much of it. I think it's a bit better when I have cream. Okay, like this. Okay. Like that, okay. So this is I'm gonna bring this to a boil or a simmer, and then at the same time, while that is cooking, I'm gonna make the sheets, the lasagna sheets, and also start with the bechamel. So this milk is for the bechamel. The flour is for both the bechamel and for the pasta. This is for the pasta. Okay, I think this is a good heat. Okay, so what do I need? I need something to put the lasagna sheets on, or the pasta on. Okay, let's start by just... Last time I did a lasagna with homemade pasta, I had a hard time making the sheets thin enough. So I'm really gonna try to make them thinner this time. And to save time, I'm just gonna make four of them. So this is, normally I wouldn't have this simmer this intense, but yeah, as I've said, I don't really have time to cook it slower today. So for some reason this pasta has turned a bit dark in the 2 days that I've let it rest in the fridge. I don't know if that's bad. I hope it's not. Okay. So I'm gonna take this one and cut it in 4. Like that. And then these 2. That. Okay, it was just the outside. It's a bit more yellow on the inside. Maybe someone can tell me why these turn dark, and if that's a problem. It smells fine. It smells like egg and flour. Like that. Okay, so and I also think it's... I'm not going to boil these. Some people boil their pasta sheets before putting it into the lasagna. I don't have time for that, and I think it's just too much of a hassle doing that. This part I might just fast forward through this when posting the video later, because I don't think this is too fun to watch. Okay, welcome back. So the pasta sheets are done, and this one has been simmering for a while. It's actually starting to thicken up quite nicely. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to turn on the oven. I'm gonna put it on like 100 and usually I put it on around 150 degrees Celsius. Maybe a bit higher today, like 160 or so. To let it cook kind of slowly in the oven. I don't know what that's in Fahrenheit, but what I'm also gonna do is I'm going to. I realize I don't need this large pot. I can use this one. I'm gonna make the bechamel. So I will turn the heat on. I'm gonna use some butter that I think I have somewhere. Hopefully. Oh, there it is. So I think I talked about how I make a bechamel in the video where I do milk stewed rigatoni. So I'm just gonna go through this quickly. So for this amount of lasagna, I usually have 1 liter of milk in total, or like 2 cups. So for that amount, I'm using 4 tablespoons of butter and 4 tablespoons of flour as well. I don't know if this is 4 tablespoons. The amount of butter is not that important, according to me. It's more important with the flour and the because that controls how thick it gets. Okay, so I put the butter in a pot and melt that. I usually melt it until it starts bubbling, releasing the water, and then when it stops bubbling, I pour in the flour. I put in the flour. So around 4 tablespoons of butter, and I'm gonna add a whisk as well. And then I'm gonna do basically the same thing I did in that video. So I'm gonna add the flour and let it just cook for a while to remove this flavor from raw flour. And then I'm gonna add the milk, like a little at first, whisking it together, and then adding more. I am also gonna prepare these and remove these. Okay. Like that, and then in with 4 tablespoons of flour. And I kind of want to be quick doing this, because otherwise the flour might burn. And I don't want that, even though I have never really felt that it tastes burnt. Okay, this is not burnt. So I mean, there are different versions of. So I mean, you guys probably know this. This is called a roux. This mixture of butter and flour, melted butter and flour. And there are different kinds of roux. There are I don't know if you call it light roux or blonde roux or brown roux. And that has to do with how long you cook it, like in this step. So if I'm gonna leave it on if I would leave it on heat, it would start becoming darker and darker brown. And you use different versions of roux in different kitchens and in different recipes. So I'm adding some milk. Just making sure everything is mixed and combined. Then I'm adding some more. Doing the same thing. And as soon as it becomes smooth, I'm adding more milk. That looks smooth. Kind of looks like mashed potatoes. Maybe I said this in that old video, but some people add all the milk at the same time. To me, it just creates lumps, but there are probably reasons for adding all of it at the same time. I don't know those reasons though, so I'm doing it this way, and I think it tastes good. That, and then quite a lot this time. And then I'm going to add the rest of it. Okay, so now I'm just gonna, so after adding the rest of the milk, usually it becomes quite liquid and not thick at all. So I'm just gonna let it heat up and start boiling, and then maybe let it boil for like a minute, and that is usually enough. But I still have to be quick with these things, so it doesn't burn. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. And this bechamel is gonna be seasoned with, the usual spices, so just salt, black pepper, and nutmeg. I never use like freshly ground nutmeg, just because it's easier to bite as a powder. And some nutmeg. Here we go. And I've seen recipes for lasagna where the bechamel is very liquid and where it's thicker. And yeah, so I mean, sometimes it's almost like this paste that just like runs really slowly, and sometimes it's like almost like this. So this should thicken just a bit more. What I can do is I can remove the piece of, or the bay leaves. Usually this step of removing the bay leaf can take several minutes, where I just where I can't find them. Ah, today I was lucky. So you can see this is, I mean, it's not too wet, but it's still kind of runny. The sauce hasn't like thickened or emulsified into something and become creamier. I think that's partly because I added milk, and partly because it hasn't boiled for a long time. It should start boiling soon. Now it starts to feel a bit thicker. You know what? I might say that this is done, even if it hasn't started boiling yet. I added a bit extra flour just to make this step a bit quicker, so I wouldn't have to wait for it as long. Okay, now it's boiling. So I'm turning off the heat, and I'm taking it off the heat. Okay, so salt. So yeah, I said this in the last video as well, or in the that other video, that instead of like learning how much salt is in a pinch, I learned how much salt I should use when doing like this. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe like that. I'm starting like that. And some black pepper. Maybe like that. I've never had lasagna that was too spicy. And nutmeg. Okay, so I'm gonna taste it. It might need more salt. No, it does not need more salt. I think it was really good. So that means that this one is also done. Or it's not done, but I'm gonna stop cooking it. And then I'm gonna start making the lasagna. So I'm gonna make it really quick, just like I made these things. Like that. And this. Oh, I haven't tasted this. Since I added that store-bought chicken stock, I didn't add any salt yet because that one's a bit salty. Might add a bit of salt. Tastes fine. Okay, so what order should I do this in? I think I'm gonna put some. I think what I have like the most of compared to the other things is bechamel, so I'm gonna start by adding a layer of bechamel at the bottom, and then that, and that, and yeah. Okay. Okay, so pasta. So I'm gonna try to just like stretch these out to cover the bottom. You probably won't, but well, this one does. It was larger than I thought it would be. And then a lot of this. Since I only have 4 sheets of pasta, I have to add quite a lot of filling in between. And then making sure that it's spread out evenly. Because it's not a pizza. that. So lasagnas, or I've heard, should be, it's more important to make it wet enough, or it's more common to make a lasagna that's too dry than it's too wet. So I should, or I don't think that will be a problem with this one. Okay. Ah. Doing this feels kind of like when I made the tortillas, like folding a piece of dough into something with edges like this. In case anyone is wondering, I also decided not to post the video of the burrito filling because it didn't taste that good. And it was not tasting like interestingly bad. It was just, yeah, not a thought out. I didn't really think that that recipe through. Okay, I'm having a lot of bechamel left. Last time I did this, did lasagna with fresh pasta or homemade pasta, I kind of underestimated how much the pasta sheets would thicken, or would how much liquid it would absorb while cooking. So hopefully it will be better this time. Okay. And then I'm gonna, maybe for this last step, no, I'm just gonna do it the same way. So usually when I'm making the final layer, I just pour everything onto it and then just letting everything run, like go down. Oh no, I needed that. Okay, so the amount of pasta I made. If you can watch the video where I made the pasta if you want to know the amounts. I think if I would have used dry pasta or just store-bought pasta for this, I would have used maybe 400 or 500 grams of dry pasta, maybe like 500 grams of fresh. And I don't know if anyone will get upset by that, but I'm not going to use any cheese in this lasagna. I think it tastes good with cheese. It's just like, I think it tastes good without cheese as well. So I'm not going to use it. And I think the bechamel has kind of similar properties in this dish. It adds, it makes it a bit rich, and the texture is also, it becomes a bit creamier, not as dry. Okay, so this is gonna go into the oven, and I'm gonna let it, maybe I'm gonna do it like this. Okay, I've been spilling a bit. I'm gonna put it in the oven, so 160 degrees Celsius for, I would like to have it in here for maybe an hour, but I don't know if my girlfriend can wait that long. So yeah, I'll tell you how long I'm gonna let it in there. See you soon. Okay, so I just took this out. It was in the oven for almost an hour, maybe 50 minutes or something like that, at least 45 minutes. And now it's just been standing here for like 5 minutes to rest and just like, get a bit more compact. So I'm gonna have myself a slice or a piece and then see how it went and what it tastes like. I usually like the lasagna more if you let it rest for like almost an hour, so the liquids start to like settle more, because now it's gonna be a bit like runny. This was difficult. Like that. It looks good. It smells good. I'm gonna have a small slice. There is a little taste. Tastes good. It's not the best lasagna I've ever had, but it's good. I'll try the pasta. The pasta is really soft and springy. Yeah, I think this is good. Given the time I spent on this, I think it was really good. So yeah, this is how I make a really quick lasagna. Thank you guys for watching.